Okay, so nearly a month ago, I went to Kennywood up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and today I'm going to be reviewing this park, which I should have done like a freaking month ago. I don't know why I'm just now doing this. I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, this is going to be my full in-depth review on Kennywood. So let's waste no time and get right into it. We're going to talk about a few things before I even get into the main review. I just want to say, I was told that I went on one of the absolute worst days of the year. And no, I wasn't told this was going to be one of the worst days of the year before I went. People actually had told me afterwards that they even agreed. They were there that day. I knew a lot of people who were there that day, some that I had even known from Instagram, and they had told me they've been to that park multiple times, and that was one of the worst days, if not the worst day of the year for that park. I mean, if you watch Taylor's channel, he was there on that same day I was. He was pissed as well. There were a lot of things that happened throughout this day that kind of affected my park experience, I'm not going to lie. But before we even get negative, I just want to say that this was during Fall Fantasy, which is some parade, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it, I'm not sure. But let's get right into one topic that I think is probably the best thing about this park, and that is, of course, the roller coasters. Now, you have Phantom's Revenge, which is a Morgan Hyper. It is a great coaster. There is a phenomenal airtime finale with that ride. It is pretty aggressive, actually. It's not as intense as some people say it is, but it is definitely a great ride, an easy top 10 coaster for me. Steel Curtain is the ride that I actually went there for mainly. That's the main reason I went to Kennywood, was to ride Steel Curtain. This is their new for 2019 SNS Hyper Coaster. It was a pretty fun ride. I think it is definitely not as good as some people have already set it out to be. I thought the pacing was phenomenal. Like, the pacing from the start to finish is fantastic. It is crazy. There are some cool airtime moments. The inversions were pretty cool, I guess. Some of them were more whippy than others, but they were okay. Overall, it was a really fun ride. I don't know if it was as good as some people say. Skyrocket was a really underrated coaster. That was pretty cool. In the back row, you literally got airtime through some of those inversions. It was really cool because of how the inversions were shaped. The two main drops on Skyrocket were really good as well. I liked the launch. I thought it was a really fun coaster, very underrated. Thunderbolt was pretty cool, I guess. I liked the lateral section where it's kind of out onto the main midway a little bit and it just goes around two helixes. I thought that was kind of cool, some nice lats there, but the rest of that ride was just okay. And then there's Jackrabbit. Let me talk about Jackrabbit for a second. I think this is probably one of the most overhyped coasters I have ridden. Everyone talked about that Double Down. They said it was phenomenal. Some people were even telling me that it was better than Moments on Phoenix. It was pretty good. Like, I definitely came out of my seat. I was flying, and the restraints are part of that reason. Like, you were literally flying. But it wasn't that strong. It was like floater. I don't understand. It wasn't that great. Not to mention the rest of that entire ride was absolute trash. So for Thunderbolt and Jackrabbit, I am probably not going to be doing reviews for them because there's really no point. Each of these two wooden coasters really only have one part where it's like, whoa, that was cool. For Jackrabbit, that's the double down, and for Thunderbolt, it's that double helix lateral section. But other than that, they're just kind of meander around. They're like really stupid almost. I also rode Lil Phantom, which is of course their kiddie coaster. Nothing special, but Obama Alert wanted me to do a review on this thing, so I'll kind of mini review it here. It kind of reminded me of Cosmos Curves in a way because Cosmos Curves was like really aggressive. That was kind of surprising. There wasn't really any airtime on it, I'm not going to lie, but I thought it was kind of aggressive. Like, I love how freaking nasty these little kiddie coasters are. E&F Miller definitely does them well. And that is where my ride count stops. That is right. These are the only 6 rides I rode at Kennywood that entire day. Oh, and that's not even the best part. I only rode each of them once. So I only got 6 rides at Kennywood that day. Racer had an incredibly long line. I didn't even really get around to it, so it was kind of hard anyways. Not to mention that a whole 2 hours and 30 minutes of my day was took up spent trying to get on Steel Curtain, which it literally shut down 4 rides after I got off. That was insane. I almost missed it. I would have been so pissed. It would have been absolutely horrible. And it was horrible because they shut it down for the rest of the day. No, that whole weekend, actually. It was shut down for the whole weekend. It was crazy. They never really said what it was. I don't know if they ever said what it was. But on that day, as far as I know, they just said maintenance. I mean, okay, but still, really? You have like tons of people here in your park, and you shut down your current most popular ride. That at the point where I was in the station, I would have said it had around a 3.5 hour line, maybe even longer. It was spilling out onto the midway. It was absolutely crazy. That line was insane. I feel so bad for some of the people who were like next in line when that thing shut down because they had been waiting hours. It was incredibly insane. I am just so thankful I even got on it. I got a front row ride and it was really fun. But back to the coasters I didn't ride. The other one was Exterminator, and Exterminator, it like shut down for a good portion of the day. When I was in line, it literally shut down, so that kind of sucked. And when we were about to leave, I kind of went back to see if, it had opened again, and it did. But when I went back, it had like an incredibly long wait, so I was like, no, not doing that. I might as well just go ride Jackrabbit. I couldn't do any of the two major thrill rides that people talk about, like Black Widow. Of course, that was shut down. There was some part they were needing from Europe at the time, I believe. And Aero 360, oh my god, no. I was like, definitely not doing that. It had an incredibly long line. I would have wanted to do those two. I really would have, but unfortunately, I didn't. And let me just say, the operations here are overall pretty trash, actually. Phantom's Revenge does pretty good, I'd say. They dispatched that thing in around 45 seconds, so they're not bad with Phantom. Steel Curtain operations are absolutely terrible. At one point, they were taking like 2 to 3 minutes to dispatch Steel Curtain's trains. Skyrocket was taking like a minute and a half. Jackrabbit, oh my god, that was horrible. I don't even remember how long that took, but it was just bad. And Thunderbolt was okay. They weren't bad with that, but I was still having to wait like 45 minutes. And I have an interesting story coming up about Thunderbolt here in a little bit. But yeah, that's basically my overall look at the rides and the coasters here, their operations. You kind of got that all down. And I'm sorry to tell you, that was unfortunately the positive part of this review. Now, I want to say something. I had no food here. I didn't try anything. No, I did not get the potato patch fries. I didn't try anything. Would I have liked to? Oh yeah, I definitely would have. I was on a tight schedule and I was trying to get these freaking coasters done. I was lucky enough to even get 6. The line for the potato patch place, yes, I saw it. It was really looking long. I don't know how long it actually looked, but I just kind of glanced at it and I was like, Phantom's right there. I'd rather go do that, get this over with. So no, I did not have any food that whole day. I would have liked to try some. And I've been told that the potato patch fries are kind of overrated, so I don't know if that would have even affected my experience. I don't know. The lines here were absolutely outrageous. They were incredibly long. I get it, it was a Saturday, yeah, but what the heck? They can't control their crowds. There were so many people, it was getting really bad. I was like, okay, this is a little bad. And honestly, part of the reason why I think this was because something I noticed, this park was incredibly small. It was way smaller than I was expecting. Like, I walked from one end to the other in like, 4 or 5 minutes it felt like. It felt like a really small park, I'm not kidding you. I mean, it's not like the size of a fair or anything, but it was just kind of weird. I didn't think it would be that small. So there were definitely a lot of people there. I think, again, it was part of the fall fantasy thing. That was part of the reason. But the lines here were so bad. Like, I waited about 35 minutes for Phantom's Revenge, 2.5 hours for Steel Curtain. Thunderbolt was at least a 50-minute wait. Then I waited 45 minutes for Jackrabbit. Lil Phantom was like 20 minutes. I waited a solid 45 to 50 for Skyrocket. So yeah, lines were absolutely terrible here. It was impossible to like ride anything more than once. And it sucked that I was on a tight schedule, and that had to do with the people I was with. And can we just talk about the atmosphere and the scenery for a second? Oh my god, it was so bad. The atmosphere is just super bland. It is just kind of weird. It's almost industrial feeling. I didn't like it at all. There's like a factory backdrop, and like, I don't know, it just was not that good. I did not like the atmosphere here. The scenery was definitely not that great. The area over near Steel Curtain and Racer was just bad. It did not look great at all. There is one area in this park that actually looked pretty decent. It was over near Phantom's where all these fountains are. I thought it looked okay. It was pretty cool. Definitely the nicest place in the park, so it looked nice. I mean, and then you have Phantom's right there, so that was a really nice looking part of the park. But other than that, absolutely trash. I don't know if this is an all the time thing, but the people here are so weird. There were like dudes wearing bikinis and stuff, like, what? I'm sorry if Kennywood is your home park, I truly am. Not that I feel bad because I'm bashing this park on this review, it's because I feel bad that you actually have this as a home park. This place is definitely not my favorite. I don't despise of this park. I mean, I take it over Six Flags America, but I don't despise of it. I just do not like it. I just simply don't like this park, and I'm sorry if you do. I thought it was overrated. I thought the operations were bad. I thought the people were weird and really horrible at some points. It was incredibly crowded. Some of the rides just plain out sucked and were overrated. And it was quite the interesting day. Don't get me wrong, I love their top 2 coasters. Steel Curtain and Phantom's Revenge are 2 great rides. Both are in my top 10. That was the plus side of Kennywood. If they didn't have those 2 coasters, it would probably be the worst park I've been to. Because then all the crowds would be at the other coasters, you know? So it would just be much worse. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this freaking park. I don't know what else to say, other than it's incredibly overrated by some people and that my day there was pretty bad. Would I give it another shot? Oh, definitely. I'd give it another shot in a heartbeat. But that's going to do it for this Kennywood review. What am I going to be giving this park for its final score? Off of this experience, I'm going to be giving this park a 5 out of 10. I am truly sorry. I don't know if it's just my experience. It probably was, but I've literally had some people tell me that they've been there on a quote-unquote good day and it was still bad. So I don't know, I'll have to go back there sometime again, but that's pretty much going to be it for this review today. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Post your comments down in the section below. What do you think of Kennywood? I thought it was a junk house. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, Coaster fans, I will see you later.